All right, you guys already know the news, but if you were living under a rock since yesterday, Black Ops 6 content will not carry forward into Black Ops 7 anymore. Only double XP tokens and gobblegums will. So what they're referring to here, and this is Treyarch and Call of Duty, this is the ones I'm talking about, operator skins are not going to carry forward into Black Ops 7. And the main reason, obviously, is because of the backlash. This is what Activision is saying, at least, right? Let's go ahead and read the picture here. They go on to say, what's changing and why? Operator skins and weapons from Black Ops 6 will no longer carry forward into Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 needs to feel authentic to Call of Duty and its setting. That is why Black Ops 6 operator and weapon content will not carry forward to Black Ops 7. Double XP tokens and gobblegums will still carry forward because we recognize your time and progression are important. They go on to say this change applies only to Black Ops 7. Call of Duty Warzone is not affected and all your Black Ops 6 content stays usable there. So, not a whole lot to unpack, but I did want to make a video on this because, you know, what else are you going to talk about in the world of Call of Duty? Is this a good thing? First off, I saw so many people on Twitter just responding to like Charlie Intel and Call of Duty tweets and saying stuff like, major W, we won, dude, God is saved. And I'm just sitting here like, my man, brother, what are you talking about? Man, first off, this is not a W in the normal grand scheme of things, right? It's a W in terms of like, it's a little hard to quantify, but I will say that it's a W in terms of them listening. It does seem like they're at least kind of giving a crap about the COD community for like once, right? I think that I'll just go into it now. I think the main reason for this is because of Battlefield 6, right? It's because of competition. If, you know, Battlefield 6 came out and it was like insanely, you know, cartoon and, you know, everybody was just like hanging around like, oh, this is so fun. We're just going to, you know, put Beavis and Butthead in Battlefield 6 and mess around and put Kevin Durant, Nicki Minaj, all these random people, all these random crossover skins. Call of Duty would feel right at home. They would not make a single damn change. But because Battlefield 6 was grounded, it was, you know, came back to its roots in terms of like what a military, like mil-sim shooter should be, what realism kind of should be, you know, Call of Duty essentially had to follow suit because they saw how successful the Battlefield 6 beta was. There is no shot in the world if Battlefield was not dropping a game this year. There's no shot in the world that Black Ops 6 content would not carry forward. Now, there's also like what I was saying before, like why this is like not an entire W. It's slightly a W in terms of them listening, but it's also an L because in terms of carry forward, this is something that we wanted. I think the COD community has like amnesia. I got that comment in one of my previous videos and I just started laughing, dude. I think it's funny. You know, you could say I have amnesia, whatever, right? But the COD community, man, just a few years ago, we were asking for for our content to carry forward. If you bought an operator skin, if you bought a camo, a blueprint, whatever, and, you know, from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, or from, you know, Modern Warfare to Cold War, things like that. We're just like, hey, it carries over in Warzone. Why doesn't it carry over now? Oh, it's because they want us to buy the skins and buy the camos over and over again. And in this game, guess what? They're not carrying it forward, right? Like people would be pissed. I tweeted this, like people, go follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. But like I said, people would be in arms. The pitchforks would be out if they dropped skins that were good, that people like spent a lot on. And then they just did not carry it forward after saying that they were going to carry it forward. I believe about a week ago now is when Treyarch and Activision were saying things like, you know, they weren't saying like buy skins, but they were saying like, oh, the skins you buy in Black Ops 6 are going to carry forward to Black Ops 7. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who bought skins during that week expecting to be reimbursed in terms of, yeah, I'm going to buy it here in Black Ops 6 and I'm going to get to play as it in Black Ops 7. And guess what? They're not going to get to because Activision, they don't really know what they're doing. They kind of have an idea, but they kind of just like, oh, people are mad about this. Let's just fix it. Instead of like, I don't know, taking an actual second to think about it. Because if you took 1 sec to think about this, the obvious answer would be to just simply make a cosmetic only switch or a non-cosmetic switch. Give players the option. That way, the people who bought Stan Smith and Beavis and Butthead can play as them and see them in their lobbies. But the people who want to play as like a realistic shooter or whatever, You know, they could just simply toggle that cosmetic filter off and they can play the game how they want to, which in most people's opinions, and in my opinion too, is probably the right way to play the game, right? Playing the game where it's like soldiers and people in uniforms, things like that, people in ghillie suits versus Beavis and Butthead and Nicki Minaj. Like, it's just a little jarring sometimes. I don't, again, like I said, I don't mind if it's like Kevin Durant, Nicki Minaj, things like that. I mind it when it's like a completely different art style. Like, what are we playing anymore? You know, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense here. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, the way you look at it, Warzone, like they say, is not affected, which essentially means that, yeah, you're going to see Beavis and Butthead in Warzone. And the bad part about this, as many content creators have probably made videos on already at this point, is that, man, like, we're gonna see the same goofy operator skins in Black Ops 7. Like, I have no doubt that within 4 months, I'd say, you know, the game launches in October. I would say by February, we're gonna see at least one goofy skin. It might not be as bad as like Beavis and Butthead, where it's like a completely different art style. But let's be honest, that is just obnoxious. Okay, like you're getting that skin to piss people off. You're not getting that skin because you love Beavis and Butthead. Like, it's just purely to piss someone off, and I'm not here for it. And I think a lot of people, you know, they're very celebratory right now. COD is saved. Throw the W's in the chat, bro. Again, in 3 to 4 months, you're literally going to be singing a different tune. You're literally going to be like, wow, what happened to the stupid skins? You know, like, oh, they're bringing Beavis and Butthead back. Why not just carry it over? Why do I have to buy it again? You know, people, I guarantee you, within like half a year of this game dropping, is going to say stuff like that. So again, while I think that it's a good change, it's a W in terms of them listening to the COD community for once, because yes, I would say that like 90 to 95% of the people thought that the skins in this game were getting a little too goofy. I think it's good. Yeah, come back to reality, Call of Duty. You know, come back to the realistic setting. Activision has also said, some of you have said we've drifted from what made Call of Duty unique in the first place. Immersive, intense, visceral, and in many ways grounded. That feedback hits home and we take it seriously. We hear you. You know, I think it's funny, Activision saying something like, we hear you. I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff, you know, skill-based matchmaking, certain things, like there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. And yeah, people are just saying like, what, have you been deaf the past like 5 years? Like, why are you only listening now? Right. And the obvious answer, it's because of competition. It's because of Battlefield 6. It's because of a game that is potentially, you know, set up to take away from this company that is quote unquote too big to fail, right? Call of Duty is too big to fail. They'll never lose a player base. You know, they're just going to be on top forever, right? Like, no, man, you're not too big to fail. We've learned this lesson over and over again. And I don't know. I guess it's good that Activision is showing that like they're a little nervous, and I think it's good to be nervous. You don't want to feel like you're necessarily always on top of the world, because you're never going to get better. Competition is good for, you know, the economy, and it's good for the gaming economy. It's good for the, you know, financial economy, whatever. I think it's good. I think it's a good situation here. This is why competition is needed in gaming. This is why competition is necessary, because it forces people and companies to do things that they might not otherwise want to do. You know, it's probably easier to just continue selling skins in Black Ops 7 and, you know, selling new players on it. It's like, oh, look at all these skins that people already have. Don't you want one? You know, here's the store. It's probably easier to do that. But if they're trying to take it seriously, if they're trying to take Black Ops 7 as like a immersive, intense, grounded shooter, then maybe, at least for a bit, maybe they'll try to make it as realistic as possible, as enjoyable as possible on the eyes, so that, you know, people don't have to feel like, oh, what am I even playing anymore? What am I experiencing? But yeah, man, I'm pretty much running out of time here. Short little video here. Maybe I'll dive into this in another video, but that's all the time I have for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.